All right, next up we got the Houston Texans at Jacksonville. Uh, I'm a big Trevor Lawrence fan this year. I'm a big Jaguars fan in general. This was a very bad week for them. Uh, Houston has won, I believe, 8 of their last games against Jacksonville in Jacksonville. So this is kind of one of those things that Jacksonville's beat Indianapolis for the past 9 times in Jacksonville. So it's just one of those things. I think one of those division things. Trevor Lawrence didn't looked the greatest. He had some decent throws that game, but he's looked a little off from when his better games were, like against the Chargers. That offense needs to pick things up a little bit. I'm trusting that they will. They got a great coach, and their defense is still pretty solid. Uh, Texans, man, they play up to their competition every game. The only reason that the Houston Texans are competitive every game and have the chance to beat all these great teams is because of that coach, Lovie Smith. If Houston gets a team around them, if they get some talented players a few years down the road, they're going to be a great team. Because when Lovie was in Chicago, they never gave him anything. They fired him when he had a 10-6 record. Just because he didn't make the playoffs. He had a 10-6 record and they fired him. Where have the Bears been since? Lovie Smith is a good coach. You give that dude a bunch of good players, the Texans are going to be relevant. I'm not a huge fan of the roster. I don't think any of the Texans fans either are either. But you give that squad some players, man. They got a good foundation in their coaching. Again, Jacksonville has a good coach too. I think this is just one of those division games. It makes me want to give props to Lovie Smith, but other than that, it's kind of a wash of a game because I don't expect the Texans to be better than the Jags, and Jags only scoring 6 points. I don't foresee that. But Trevor Lawrence needs to get out of this slump before he gets out of playoff position before it becomes too late in the year. I think that the Jaguars have a good chance of pushing for at least a wild card position. If Tennessee steps back up to like where they were, um, Jacksonville's going to be fighting for a wild card. I've been saying Jacksonville to take the division, but the last 3 weeks Tennessee has been stepping up and looking like their old selves. So again, Jacksonville overall on defense looks solid. Their offense, they they couldn't really get much going. Obviously scoring 6 points and Trevor Lawrence just kind of looked inaccurate. I just think that it was one of those wacky division games. Houston Texans, hold on to your coach no matter what your record is. Hold on to that coach because he's the only reason why you're in all of these games. You have a terrible offense. You have pretty terrible defense, and you're still in every game pretty much. So I would be very thankful if I was a Houston Texans fan and Jacksonville. They got to go on a little winning streak here if they want to make some noise late in the season.